Good morning from Tucson, Arizona. This is Laura of The Yarn Closet. We are having a quiet late morning. I say late because it's about 8:30 after I've dropped my daughter at school. I'm just going to run through a few quiet moments and things that I'm working on because my son is hanging out in his room. We're waiting to have a later start of the day because Dad's still in bed, and I'm just enjoying the colder weather. It's just so sad that the kids are just one sickness after another this school year, so many of them, and it just affects them. And they're in play practice because we have a play next week, and my poor little one was home and asleep on the couch at 4 o'clock yesterday. Slept till about 5:30 and then was asleep again by 8:30 and didn't get up till almost 6 this morning, which was fabulous because she needs the rest. She's so excited. She wasn't in the play last year, and she's in it this year. She's an angel. So that will be awfully fun for her. She's quite the little stage presence. I took Sadie, the retired guide dog, into a new vet yesterday. Our old vet had retired, and I'd been reluctant to take her in. She rarely ever goes anywhere because she was once a working dog. And who actually takes their dogs, their regular dogs, places? But because she was a working dog, there are certain things she was trained to do, like alert me to off-leash animals. And here we have plenty. I mean, we have coyotes walking up and down our sidewalks and the wash that's just at the end of my street. Javelinas going through the alleys. So, and plenty of dogs and cats off leash at times. So it's a good thing that she does that. However, the reason that she ended up retiring a little bit early, most service dogs make it about the average is 7 to 8 years. And she made it 6 and a half, something like that. She ended up retired because we were at church, coming out of church one day, and as we're walking through the very crowded, to get out afterwards, another compassion animal was there, and it attacked my service dog. But it was on my side, like I was in between the two dogs, and because of that, Sadie was vigilant to protect me. I think had the dog gone to attack her from her side, I think she would have stayed in check, because up until that point, we'd been able to take her to all kinds of crazy places, like walk her into the butterfly room at the state fair, and she wouldn't react, or the bird sanctuary at the zoo. She wouldn't react. When she's in her harness, she's so different. But in this last year, since the vet had retired, I noticed a change in her eyes. And if it was bad enough that I'm going to notice it in certain light, I was concerned that it might be the glaucoma. Stop it. And glaucoma is more painful for dogs than it is for humans, because their pressures get about double what the pressures get in humans that go through it. And I've had other dogs that have gone through it. They often end up needing surgery. Magnus is going to wake up Daddy unless I give him a little thingy. So the dogs end up in a lot more pressure. They can often end up with their eyes removed, with retinas that detach, all kinds of stuff. And she'd also been rubbing her head a lot these last few months. So I finally bit the bullet, called the new guy, and turns out he's on the list of eye expert dog people. So took her in. She does not have the glaucoma. I'm so relieved. She has some changes in her lenses, maybe the start of the cataracts, which are not painful and are much more slow in progressing, where the glaucoma progresses very quickly. Would you knock it off? You're going to wake up Dad. Oh, he just knows that he's got me. He's got me. He knows it. So here we go. This is what we're going to do. Toss a few treats outside, then he's a little distracted. Oh, there's one of our bunnies. So that's all it is, and she's in great health otherwise. He thinks the head rubbing might be a little bit of allergies. So that is a big relief. I was quite emotional yesterday. You really can't even imagine. And the new office manager got a real kick out of the difference in Sadie between work and not work. So here's one of my Fat Squirrel sweater size, the $49 sweater size. I know it's a lot, but honestly, this can hold 2 of my sweater projects, and I use it as a purse. You know, I have a cane in here, I have snacks in here, I have a whole notions kit, glasses, food, and a couple projects. So I was going to show you the project I work in my purse bag. It is a small fingerless mitt with a, I know the light's bad this morning, with a hung hem. That means just fold it over and seamed. I did a little color change. It's gray. There's a gray swash in the middle. And then here's the spot for the thumb, and I've just started the ribbing. And I'm hoping that the ribbing is going to make that purple section longer than this bottom purple section. So it's going to go up further on my fingers, or they may become a gift. See, my favorite cowl that absolutely rolls completely in on itself. And I don't even care. I just wrap it up a bunch. Wear it almost every day. So I'm working on that set of fingerless mitts. I'm working on this set of fingerless mitts because, okay, and you people are savvy, you're gonna notice this. I thought it was a pair of socks, but it turned out I really wasn't finished. But these are a 72 tube, so once again it's got a hung hem. I did take it in a little bit working the toe, but I'm fine with that because these are for my son because he likes red, white, and blue. And so I've already started the thumb hole here in the red section. I'm going to work up the blue, and those will be for him. He doesn't know they're coming. He thinks it's some other cobbled together hobbledehook version of scrappy mitts that he wasn't really thrilled about. He'll be far more thrilled about that. Can you see this? I just stuffed a bit of a tube with, I'll show you this. I keep my ends. So I stuffed this tube with my ends, and I stuck it in this little purple dish that I used to put yarn in because I'm always saving out certain needles, and I need them more condensed. So it's like a pin cushion for needles and knitting needles and stuff. This is hard because I can't switch my, do you see this? That's about 2.5 years worth of ends. All of the ends. And all of the really bad tangles that I wasn't willing to unravel. Because when you have a machine, you have some waste yarn that you put in between if you're going to crank like 2 tubes together. I'm trying to finish this up. I really just want to crank a bunch of stuff, but I can't seem to get the time to do it. So this is like my odds and ends drawers for little bits that I can put in between the tubes that I'm cranking, because I crank them one right after the other, and try to keep the tube kind of always going on the machine, because that's, starting it off can be the most futzy part of it sometimes. So then this morning I made some little notebooks that I keep in my purse, but I can't find the staple gun. Here are the pens I keep. And then here is, can you see this? You can't see it. It's so hard to do this. I'm gonna go with the little hearts, and then I'm gonna do a couple of rows, and then it's gonna transition into this Yowza. This is just one of the Craftsy Cloudborns. I really do like them. I just only get them when they're on sale, because I think that that's really their value point. But it's going to be much tighter on my neck, because that's rough in the mornings. That gets pretty cold. And I still have to finish my little square for the Grandma's Dishcloth throw pattern. But I wanted to let you know that the fingerless mitts, one of the patterns is free over on the Patreon blog, and another one is going up, I think, on Saturday. I think it'll be done or up on Saturday, Monday at the latest. There's some other last-minute looming things that I'm posting on over the next couple weeks. And I think we might just make it to, I'm only going through Christmas Eve. But I'm enjoying it, and it's been so fun to get a present from Deb over at the Canadian Crotch Store. And be able to sit. The funny thing is, we had sent another podcast or something right around the same time she wasn't expecting, and the wishes granted thing that goes on Instagram has just been fun. I've gotten a couple of, I got Christmas money early from my parents, and so I got into some sales and have ordered some stuff, some more yarn that is going to come, and that's going to be my yarn for next year. I try to just I really try. The only time I'll buy yarn during the year will be if there's a very specific project that I'm making for someone and I need something that I don't have, or that, you know, I can't convince them to work with something I have. But honestly, that rarely happens. So I really didn't buy much yarn at all. 6 skeins of acrylic last year in between my Christmas purchases, beginning of the year purchases, and this year's. And that is the way I kind of like to do it, because when you're buying all year long, at least for me, I find that I spend so much more. Whereas if I can condense it into a few sales that I know are going to happen at the end of the year, the beginning of the year, my budget stays in line much better. So, and I don't like to have a gargantuan amount of stash. One of the things I have found is when I buy the sweater quantities, that the recommended amount, I always have extra, and that can always work for that slippers or socks or cuffs or whatever. So I'm trying to buy more sweater quantities, but I'm also trying to learn how to work more with like that color work thing so I can get my yarn to stretch a little bit more. And because I get bored, as much as I want a solid color sweater in something very tonal, I just get bored. I think the next one I'm going to do is going to be very much tonal, but I'm going to try to do it in pieces. There's going to be a little bit of color work at the bottom, but I'm going to try to do it in pieces and see if that keeps me more engaged, because each piece gets done, so you feel that accomplishment. I can hear some coughing, so I am going to wrap this up. It's a little bit longer today, and we might take you out to look at Christmas lights one of these nights, because it's a riot to see Christmas lights in palm trees. I don't even know how some of these people do it. All right, look with your heart first.